Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wingfulness, and I'm your host Moki.
And I'm Aiden, and we're back for another episode. And if you like what you, I guess, listen. If you like what we do, you can like, subscribe, do whatever, do all that, and let's just get into the hot take.
All right, let's go.
All right, my hot take for this week is illegal plays or dirty plays are important to the game of basketball, and to a degree are impressive and skillful to a certain degree.
Whoa.
And and
Okay.
I'm saying this is because obviously, like the what I don't agree with are plays that just that just injure a player. Like that is just like that should never be a thing that should be drawn up or a player should be thinking or
Can you give me an
do.
example of that?
Like
Um, just
Lou
just
Dort
for
hitting
people.
Steph Curry's hand, or Dylan Brooks, stuff like that,
Okay.
or
Okay.
landing it or being in front, being
Under
in the
somebody.
way of Kawhi's
Yeah.
landing zone, all that shit.
Okay.
Things that could hurt yourself or another player. That is just, I don't. Obviously, that is completely separate. But what I'm talking about is things like let's look at Shea. We hate it. Everyone hates it, but it's a skill to have, and it can make a player. It can elevate a player from a different player. It can make a player better or greater, not entirely, but in that aspect of drawing a foul like Shea, is it's skillful and impressive to a degree. You can hate it as much as you want, but it happens. It does happen. He gets those shots because he can do because like he I guess he can sell it or whatever. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Oh, but also it's important to the game of basketball because it also shows um what we need, like, or what the league needs to do to stop stop this stuff, or what where the problem is within the game right now. And it could be Shea and his flopping. It could be other things. It could
Okay.
be a whole different amount of things, and they are important to the game of basketball. Like Kevin Durant, his rip through fouls. I don't if you know what his rip through
I do not
the
know.
rip
Can you give
through.
me
It's
an
just
explanation?
it's where you uh imagine if KD has his ball in his hand in the hand. His defender has his arms up, and he's just in kind of KD's face, real close. His arms are up. KD can rip through with his arms, and he gets a foul. He gets a shooting foul, all because he ripped his arms through the defender's arms.
So like
That
you
yeah,
swing your arms up into their arms, right?
yeah, you
Okay.
swing
Okay. Yeah.
you swing it from the left all the way to the right, and that's a foul on them. And that is inherently, that is just not fair. That is
That is definitely not fair.
uh
Yeah.
yeah, like what are you supposed to do? Like how you say with Shay, like what are you supposed to do? Like you can't do anything against it. I mean, you just have to not put your
Okay.
arms up.
So I think I know
But
what you're saying now, more than what I thought in the beginning. So
okay.
for me and what I'm gonna guess the viewers are gonna approach this as or understand this
Hmm.
as, I think you're
Hmm.
saying it's important that these things exist so we can correct them. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Okay.
They're
Because at first I was like, whoa, because you said it's important that these hard fouls or these like aggressive fouls are in the game because it needs to be physical or something. Like that's why I was like immediately I thought of
no,
like
no.
you talking about like Wemby's elbow or something or or like Carter Bryant running
That
into
is just no.
Shea.
He should not have done
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That okay. That
Like
makes sense.
again,
Okay.
hurting a player. No, but like
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it can be skillful. It can be impressive. But also it's also important to the game of basketball. Again, like the KD rip through foul, like him and CP3 did that a lot.
Yep.
You just get free fouls, and that's just bullshit. That should not be a thing.
Yeah.
It's not really dirty from them, or kind of dirty, or not really illegal. At
It's
least not
just
from CP3.
it's just straight up
CP3,
like foul baiting, kind of like you're just trying to get the
yeah,
foul.
but
Yeah.
CP3 said, that's he actually shoots the ball like that, and also he said, it's kind of a skill with how it it's intelligence, how
It
to
all
use what
definitely
CP3
is
is.
a skill, but it's
Yeah,
more
but
of
he
like
but
it
he
shouldn't
he
be
did.
a thing.
Yeah, but he did say, yeah, like it can be frustrating. So like, yeah, it's really frustrating, and also things like even Kobe Bryant, he was a dirty player. I mean, like like he said, he would read the ref's handbook or whatever and know where the refs are, and so he will foul a player. Like if he needs to get more physical, he can strip the ball away if the ref is not there looking, or sometimes like Matt Barnes when Matt Barnes would like fake the ball into Kobe Bryant's face and he didn't flinch. Oh, Kobe mentality, all that shit. But like, yeah, Matt Barnes was angry at Kobe because Kobe was really physical that game. He was hitting him, punching him, and the refs weren't looking or whatever
Yeah,
because Kobe was a dirty player, and it's skillful. It's impressive, but it's important to the game because there needs to be needs to be that we don't want that in the game.
exactly.
So it's important to the game of basketball that these do exist, so we can just stop it. Like Steph Curry and his hand with Dylan Brooks,
Okay.
they made that a new rule.
Yeah.
So
I do. Okay, I
it's
get
important to the
that
game
now.
of basketball.
Yeah, so you're pretty much like it is important that these problems happen so you can address them. Whereas if it never did happen, you can never address them. I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Now that I understood what you meant. As much as I don't want these things to be a thing, but the way you're phrasing it makes it completely agreeable, and I think a lot of fans would agree with this. Maybe the NBA and Adam Silver might not, because Adam Silver recently in an interview said that he thinks the refs are doing an amazing job, which I think is not right at all. I'm not even just talking about foul baiting or any of that. I'm just talking about in general. Oh, excuse me. Oh, but and I do agree with you completely. Like I think the Kobe thing that just comes with like really good defense, and then you kind of are more sly, so you can hand check somewhat. You can kind of get your arm under there to kind of hold his arm, which isn't actually a foul fully, but actually I guess it depends on the extent you use it in. But
Yeah.
there are some aspects of what Kobe would do or what really skilled defenders do that should probably not be there. And that's where I think in that situation, it is hard for the refs to deter
Hmm.
that or to kind of catch that. Obviously, when like a player is so smart like Kobe and they know where the blind spots are, you can't, it's kind of hard for the refs. But I definitely think you're right. Where a lot of these things that players do, like Katie's rip through, Shay's jump into the player, or all OKC's jump into the player after the
Yeah,
shot.
I mean, yeah, even Harden,
Um,
even
yeah,
when he
exactly.
was
And Harden, the
in
one who
Houston, he did that shit a lot.
yeah, people always complained about that back then as well, and then they added the rule and they just never did anything about it. And then people are like, "Oh, well, Harden did it, but nobody said anything." Yes, people did say stuff about Harden. That's why the rule did exist. If people would go and read the handbook, but they don't. They just mad because people are mad at OKC. Which, if you're an OKC fan, I guess I can kind of understand. But at the end of the day, you need to understand. Fans need to understand what other side they are on. That these shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't be able to get a foul for something that the other player has no control of, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
because like people are like, well, you just play good defense, you just can't jump on shots. But then how are you ever supposed to block a shot? Like, do you have to just know he's gonna be shooting? And if anything, look, this is what I'm saying. I can guarantee score 4 points in an NBA game because I can foul bait. I can foul bait. If you're not gonna jump to block my shot, right? I can take a free shot, and I'm not that bad of a. I'm not great, but you give me 30 minutes on the floor, I can guarantee make 2 shots of like 10 or 11. But if you allow me to foul bait, right, the fact that me as a player who is not an NBA player at all, close, I can fake a shot and jump into the guy, and that's automatic free throws. I can make 4 free throws. is insane
Right.
that that is even
Yeah.
allowed, right?
Yeah.
And then people would be like, well, that doesn't count if you could score 4 points with just foul baiting. Well, then why does it count for anyone else in the actual NBA, right? Like I don't understand. They even made the rule where you're not allowed to jump into the defender, and they just don't enforce it. They don't enforce it. They did for
Yeah.
one season, and then after that, it was like nothing. It's I don't know. Adam Silver needs to
Yeah.
crack down on that. The
Yep.
swipe through stuff, like you said, with KD, I said the wrong word. The whip through, also needs to not be a thing because you can't do anything on
No, yeah,
defense.
that it's yeah, that
Yeah,
was yeah, it should
defense
it's
is
no longer
so
there.
hard already. What and also the you have to be standing perfectly straight up or it counts as a defensive foul. You know how impossible it is almost all the time to play good defense and then just be straight standing up when the guy's coming right at you. Right at you. I understand there's blocking fouls where you're not allowed to impede a person's like traffic, I guess, or the drive. But it's
Mhm.
so hard as a defensive player because you legit can just run into a guy on offense with zero intent to shoot the ball
Yep.
and
Yeah.
get a free throws or the foul. It doesn't even matter about free throws. Everyone talks about these
Yeah.
free throws being things, but it's the fouls. If you have four
Yeah.
fouls, you can't play. If you get two fouls in the first quarter, you're probably sitting out the rest of the first quarter. Like,
It's the
it's
same
yeah,
thing with the rip through foul. Like they weren't going up to shoot the ball, but it looks like they're going up to shoot the ball, and you just get a free foul.
exactly.
And it's the same thing, same problem.
Yeah, I think
So yeah,
yeah,
that's my take.
yeah.
It's
Like I
not
said,
really hot, or I don't know if people
it's
think
not
it's
that
hot.
hot now that we explain it. At first, it seemed hot. Um, But yeah, I mean, like I said, I still agree with you on everything. I just think a lot of these fouls just need to be enforced, and I don't know. Yeah, the rules just have to be changed. I agree with you completely. As we're seeing
Yep.
with all these ways you can foul bait, and it's just one. It's boring to watch. Do you guys? If any of you guys are FKC fans, if you watch this at all, do y'all really like to see Shea pump fake and then not even really try to shoot the ball, but fake shoot the ball while jumping into a guy to get free throws. And we'll get into this right in the next segment because I already have things to say about this. But regardless of the fact, like I don't know how you guys enjoy that. I was watching Wemby do it in Game 7 as well. Not even jumping to the guy, but trying to foul bait. And I was like, dude, I like Wemby. First of all, I love Wemby now. I was like, what the
And
fuck are you doing?
but also
Like,
this is where the problem lies, is that it's that important that a player has to do it. That's
yep,
that's that's where the problem is. It's that
yep,
important. That player has to do it.
yeah,
And that's why we need to fix this.
yep,
It needs to be fixed. It's
yep.
that important. They have to do it, even if they don't want to. They just have to, because
Exactly.
it's a
Yeah.
skill that a player
Yeah.
needs.
If they're gonna call it for OKC, then shoot. I understand why all of the Spurs pretty much just started to do it. Why Wemby started to do it. Actually, all the Spurs didn't do it. It's just Wemby. But I understand because hey, you're not enforcing the rule on this, and they're getting rewarded for you not calling it. I'm gonna do it too. I understand. It sucks to watch, but I understand.
Yep.
And I hope all you fans, OKC or not, like be real with yourselves if you really enjoy people being at the free throw line that often. Because I tell you, game six, I don't even know if it was game six, it might have been game five or game four. When I watched 30 free throws in one quarter, and that was the most boring shit I've ever fucking seen. I don't even, Aiden wasn't here with me during that time either, so I couldn't even talk to
No.
anybody. I was watching by myself, and that was so fucking boring. And I'm sorry if you enjoy that. That is not entertaining. That should not be entertaining. The integrity of the sport needs to be allowed. The defense has to be allowed to play defense. If I'm jumping up to block your shot and I land to the left of you, you should not be able to jump to the left while on your jump shot because nobody shoots like that, first of all, especially while you're just standing there to get the foul. It makes no sense. And we'll get into that in game seven. Uh but yeah. That was a pretty good hot take. Not as hot, obviously, as our other ones, but
It was a good discussion.
it definitely is a good discussion. Let us know what you guys say down below. as I said, I always read every comments. I don't know if Aiden does, and if Aiden ever does, I'm sure he would respond. Although we only get like 2 comments every like 30 videos. But besides the point, let us know down below. I'll reply to you. Aiden will reply to you. We can have a conversation about it. Uh, and we'll move right into game 7 or the
The
playoff
only
recap, I
game.
guess.
The
If you're good,
only
Aiden.
game. Yeah, we're ready.
All right, bet. Let's go. And we are back for the playoff recap. And of course, as all of you guys know, it's only one game. From the time we did the last video, at least, because the last video was a bit late. It's not even out yet. I still have to upload it. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but because I was busy and I was lazy, mix of both. But game 7, OKC versus Spurs, and I know all of you have seen already. It's been like 2 days since it happened. Um, Absolutely, it was a great game. Great game. This series easily the one of the best series that we have ever seen. Best series I've ever seen with my own eyes. I've watched every one of the games. I try to make every one of the games and make time for watching it.
Yeah.
I think I missed maybe at most like 20 minutes of this entire series of actual game time. Maybe less. I don't know. But I've been here watching this whole thing. Aiden unfortunately could not. He had work.
That'll work.
Understanding.
It's
Real
like
life,
how
big
many
people
games I
things.
missed? Like three, four?
I think we
I
missed
missed
2. I don't think you missed that many.
I missed two?
Um,
Oh, okay.
from what I can recall, it was game 7. I think game 6. Um, I don't remember missing anything else. At least not from my recollection. But
Yeah, I don't.
hey, I'm gonna be honest. This game was pretty entertaining. The Spurs really took a commanding lead. Not commanding lead, but they were up to 7 in the first quarter. They were looking really
Mm.
great. They took a 14-point lead at one point, and then they choked it. Uh, which I was very afraid of. But I like the fact that they always come swinging in the first quarters. Um, and the next quarter, the OKC caught up. You know, at halftime,
Yep.
they were only down, if I'm not mistaken, 4 points. Did I do my math right? 3 points. 3 points. All right. 56, 56, 53. Uh, and I was scared. I was afraid. Trust
Mhm.
me, I was afraid.
Yeah.
And then the third quarter came along, and OKC came back. They were fighting back tooth and nail. It was a really good not series game for them. Like not really good, but it was a relatively good game from the guys who you expected to step up. Uh, Jalen Williams.
Hmm.
Uh,
Queso.
Queso Wallace.
That those last four,
Yeah,
those last few minutes,
yeah, that was really
just
actually
hitting
huge. I was
threes.
really scared. Yeah, Shea. But those were really the only guys who really did anything in most of this. Shea, as much as I don't like his foul baiting antics, he was insane. He showed why he
Yeah.
was the MVP, why he is this
He
good.
also hit a big three in that
Uh,
last few
yes, he
minutes
did.
too.
Yes, he did. Um, yeah, and then third quarter,
They were getting close.
yeah, OKC came really strong, and then the Spurs came back to weather the storm. They tied 24 points in the third, both of them or both teams, and then San Antonio came to play. Everyone on San Antonio came to play in the fourth quarter, beating them 31-26 in the fourth.
Hmm.
Um, and I gotta shout out my guy, Keldon Johnson. Uh, he did not look the greatest during these series and during these games. I think if I'm saying he was 0 for 3 from 3 during this game. Before going to the fourth quarter, and he had 2 big 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. Great game from number 6-man option. He wasn't looking the greatest this series, to be honest. He was looking okay, but wasn't looking the greatest. And then Julian Champagny. I need to give you the props, bro. I didn't know what do they always say? Uh, uh, I didn't understand your game, something like that. I don't know what to say. It was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was incredible. 20 points, 6-11 from the
Oh, I'm
field.
not familiar with your game.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not familiar with your game. I wasn't familiar at all, and holy crap, I was up on you the whole year. Um, but to see it in the playoffs against one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league, Insane. In game 7, too, first of all. 6 of 11 from the field, 20 points, 6 of 10 from 3. With, I think 5 points in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Solid guy. Only 1 turnover. He is playing out of his mind. Devin Vassell, solid guy. Got his boards. Solid. Nothing amazing, Don't expect too much from Devin Vassell. But when he does have a good night, he has a good night. Wemby, solid game. 22 points, 7 to 15. Was efficient. Three of 5 from 3. And I'm glad Wemby didn't just take a lot of shots from 3. He only took 5, and he made 3 of them. If they're falling, they're falling. 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Only 1 turnover too, which is great. They were playing point Wemby in the beginning of this game. It was insane.
Real?
Yes, they were. Wemby was
Oh
bringing
shit.
the ball up because he can get a pick and roll with a smaller guy then, and it was incredible. Obviously, when Wemby went off the court, they actually had the struggles. Of course, any team without the stars is going to have the struggles, especially against a team like OKC, which is super deep. But they're playing point Wemby, and honestly, I thought it was good. He didn't even have any assists. He only had 2 assists. But the fact that he was playing it looked dangerous. Like I don't know how you would defend that off pick and roll unless you have double big lineup. But it was good. They didn't run it the whole time, but they ran it like half the game. Like a little bit in first, a little bit in second, a little bit in third, a little bit in fourth. Not much in fourth, but more of the beginning parts. And it kind of was working. Great game from him. Leading scorer for the Spurs.
Mhm.
De'Aaron Fox
Yeah.
stepped up. 6 of 12 from the field. Oh, something made a noise. Hopefully nothing else makes too much noises. Let me go mute that real quick. And 3 of 7 from 3. And he only had 15 points. But man, those 15 points felt like 25. Dude, I don't know. It just did 5 assists on only 2 turnovers as the primary ball handler. You have Wemby and De'Aaron Fox being pretty much some of your primary ball handlers during this game, and they only had 3 turnovers combined. Great. And he had 3 steals,
And
by the
every
way.
single one of them got a steal.
Exactly.
This
Every
this team
starter
always just
got a
be
steal.
stealing, bro.
It was really great, honestly. The steals that they're making, their defense was so good this game too that when I was watching that they were making OKC turn that ball over a lot more than I expected. Stephon Castle, 16 points, 7 to 15 from the field. Again, it felt like 25. 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He did have 6 turnovers, but he also was another ball handler, so it's somewhat okay for him. And he had a steal. Obviously, you want less turnovers, but hey, you won the game.
Less
Doesn't
than
matter.
less than less than 11.
That is a
Less
lot less
than
than
9.
11 and 9. So yeah. Dylan Harper, like a seasoned vet, efficient, 12 points, 5 of 8, 2 for 3 from 3, with a dagger over Shea himself in the fourth quarter to pretty much kind of seal the game. Not really seal it, but yeah. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers only, only 1 foul.
Also, fucking stops Stephon Castle
Yes.
from getting heated up.
I was about to get into that. Yeah. There was a play where, if you guys didn't watch this, unfortunate for you, but there was a play where Stephon Castle went up for an easy layup, and Alex Caruso, which I hated because this is really dirty, should have got flagrant 1, pulled down Stephon Castle from the layup onto the ground out of when Stephon Castle was mid jump. It looked like you could see him pulling him. And regardless of the fact of Caruso trying to soften Stephon Castle's landing, should have never touched him anyway. Stephon
Yep.
Castle gets up from the ground. Well, he's still on the ground technically, but looks up and kind of pushes Alex Caruso's leg slightly. And Dylan Harper instantly comes around and grapples, hugs Stephon Castle. Dylan Harper grabs that. That is a veteran move from a guy who is 20 years old to stop his 21-year-old teammate from getting ejected.
Yep.
It was such a good thing to see, and shows how mature Dylan Harper is as a player and how good he is. Now you might say 12 points ain't much, but he has 5 for 8. It was solid. And one of the plays that everyone has seen, and Aiden has seen probably, Luke Cornett
Yep.
played 6 minutes. Wemby had his 5th foul in the 4th quarter. and went to sit down. And Luke Cornett came on for 2 minutes. Maybe not even 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been like a minute 30. OKC got the ball off turnover in a transition basket. Should have been free for Isaiah Hartenstein, who, by the way, was playing very solid defense all game. Relatively efficient. We'll get to their side in a bit. Goes for a free layup. And Luke Cornett comes running down the field like 2016 LeBron or 2015 LeBron, whatever, for a transition block to keep the Spurs up 6 points with, if I'm not mistaken, 5 minutes or 4 minutes left to play. It was like what Wemby said, a winning play, and what everyone will remember from Luke Cornett, who only played
It
six
was insane.
minutes. It was absolutely insane to see it in real time. I was like, oh no, that's a free basket. They're gonna be down 4, and it's only like 2-3 minutes left. Wemby has 5 fouls, and Luke Cornett comes out of nowhere, gets the block, and it ends up being a play that they end up scoring on to put them up 8. They got the ball back off the block and scored. And without Luke Cornett, maybe this game is different.
Yeah.
And obviously he only played 6 minutes, but these are the minutes you need from these guys. Great game from everyone on the Spurs. Absolutely great game. That's all you can ask for. Your whole team shows up. Game 7 on the line. Now we're gonna get to OKC, and I'm gonna talk about uh the guys who I feel like deserve to be talked about. Cason Wallace. We'll start off with you. Uh, People really said you didn't show up too much, but you really showed up this game. I'm be honest, I was watching, and at the end, Cason Wallace making like back-to-back threes or something. I was like, oh shit, the OKC gonna come back. They gonna knock down these three. He had like a deep like 25, 26 foot three to keep them within like I think 4 or 6 points. And I was like,
Yeah.
no way he hit that. I had a feeling. Shea got the ball, passed it out. It was like 2 or 3 seconds on the shot clock left, if I'm not mistaken. And Cason Wallace hit this shot, the 3-pointer. One of the best players for the second best player technically on the court for OKC. 17 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3.
7
rebounds.
boards.
Yeah, 7 rebounds, by the way, is insane. 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block, with only 2 turnovers and 2 fouls. Amazing from one of the starters. All you can really ask for, right? But he's not all NBA, all star level player, but playing very great minutes. Isaiah Hartenstein, I already talked about, was very solid defensively. Not amazing, but solid-ish. 7 points, 3 of 7. One free throw, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, only 2 turnovers, only 2 fouls. Nothing bad. Just a solid guy. Um, Jalen Williams could not shoot tonight, but he hit a 3 that seemed like most of the time when he shoots a 3, it looks like it's going in. Like Pierre says the numbers on the board, it looks like it's going in. And honestly, I'm starting to believe it. I was watching, I'm like, oh my god, that might fall. And he did drop one, only one, thankfully. Only had 11 points, 5 of 9. Not the best, but you're a bench guy. You're not supposed to be amazing. You do what you can, and that's all. Jared McCain, 12 points, 5 of 12, 2 of 7. Did not have the hottest shooting night. Unfortunate. You're not going to be perfect every night as a shooter. And you're like what, sophomore year, if I'm not mistaken, or this is uh junior year, one of the two. As Caruso, who not a good night at all from 3 of 14, 1 of 6. Horrible night for Caruso, absolutely horrible. But someone else had to take the shots, and Caruso stepped up. 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Cambridge Williams only took 1 shot. Or he took 4 shots. 4 field goals. 0 for 2 from 3. Only had 2 points. Whatever. He played 4 minutes. Lou Dort, 1 for 3. 1 for 4 from the field. 1 for 3 from 3. Didn't play a lot of minutes. Good. They knew. Mark Dagnall was smart enough to not put him on the court. He wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't shooting well. Wasn't playing good. Had 2 fouls in 16 minutes. That's not great. And the elephant in the room, or should we say giraffe? Chet Holmgren looked absolutely horrible on offense. He was fine defensively. Not great, but fine. Maybe good. And you might think, oh, my bad. Yeah, Chet's the second best player on the team. With J Dub out, with Alex Mitchell out, he gotta take some shots. This is game
Alex
seven.
Mitchell.
This is game seven. You like back against the wall against one of the greatest teams, not greatest teams, but greatest players of all time in Wemby, who is your supposed rival. He has to be taking shots. He needs to step up. Obviously, Shea's going to give him the ball. Shea even said he put him in positions to get more shots and get more offense going. Chet shot 1 for 2 from the field in 33 minutes. 4 points, with 2 of them being free throws, and he missed 2 free throws. But he couldn't even hit all his free throws. 2 steals,
And
two
he had
blocks.
4 boards.
Yeah, 4 boards
Like,
only. That's a
like
seven
Duke
footer.
Dennis had 10 boards.
Yeah. Shea had 4 boards. Your guard has 4 boards. Casey Wallace had 7.
Yeah, he's like 6'3".
Yeah. So Chet was absolutely terrified of Wemby here. There's no other explanation for it. The guy who was supposed to be back then, he said he wanted to be the best player in the league, and he's not showing it. When you're faced with adversity, you need to show up, especially in moments like this. You are the reigning and not MVP, reigning NBA champion, and you take 2 shots in Game 7 of the conference finals with 2 of your best players out. You take 2 shots. Kenrich Williams, who played 4 minutes, took double your shots. Think about that. And had half your points with no free throws. Absolutely horrible game from Chet. Horrible series from Chet. Arguably the worst series we've ever seen from a number 2 or number 3 option in NBA history who has who has a ring. Obviously, he's young, but there's no excuse that you take 2 shots. The guys who were announcing this even said, I'd rather have you go 1 for like 10, or it might have been a podcast instead, 1 for 10 instead of 1 for 2. Because that means you ain't even try. There's many times during this game where you see Chet get the ball, and he was scared of Wemby, who wasn't even guarding him the whole time, by the way. He passed it out. He had an open look 3 that he did not take because he was so afraid of that. And that's where it's like, I don't understand what is going on in his head. Is he that afraid of Wemby? I don't know. It was absolutely horrible series from Chet. Chet averaged, if I'm not mistaken, uh 2 3-pointers attempted in this entire series, and I think he only had averaged like 7 or 8 field goals attempted in the entire series from your arguable number 2, number 3 option on one of the best teams in the league. Absolutely horrendous. Shea came to play. He had no help except for Queso. That's it. Everyone else played horrible. Not honest, or horrible or mid. Shea was dropping 35 points.
He had McCain.
McCain wasn't even taking that good of shots either.
I mean, he was
Shea
alright.
had 12 of 21, 2 for 5 from
It was
3.
really Caruso and Chet.
Yep. 9 free throws, which honestly I did not like because bro was foul baiting, but whatever. Nobody else on your team is showing up, and they're not calling it. They're letting you get the free throws, so I guess just do it. But I hated to watch it, first of all. Because there was one where he pump faked, and then Devin Vassell went to the left of him, as I talked about earlier, and then he just jumped right into Devin Vassell and got 3 free throws per, by the way. He made all of them, of course. And he had 9 assists. He's trying his best. He had 3 steals and 1 block. He was playing defense. And every one of his shots was pretty much contested, and he was just dropping them. I was watching him take tough midi from tough midi again and again and again. I'm like, how is he making this? As a Spurs fan or a Wemby fan, I was like, how is he making these tough ass shots? It was like they were playing perfect defense, hand in his face, and he was still shooting over them and making it. I don't know. He was playing out of his mind. even regardless of the free throws, he was still playing great. Really tried to show up for his team, but nobody else was there. I
Yep.
I don't know. And when we do our stocks video, we got some guys that's gonna be added in there that we yeah that we gonna see.
And
Um,
this series would have never happened without the Philadelphia 76ers because
yep,
the Spurs picked up Julian Champagny
yep.
because
He
Philly
got
waived him,
waived.
and then they sent OKC Jerry McCain.
Yep, yep. Sent OKC Jerry McCain.
I saw that
Also,
last year.
if I'm not mistaken, uh, I think Case and Wallace might have been on the Sixers as well.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it.
I forgot. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Isaiah Joe. I bet it was Isaiah Joe if I'm not mistaken, which didn't play in this game, but was as a solid piece for OKC. Um, the notes I had, I pretty much went overall. Chet took 0 shots in the second half of this game. By the way, 0.
I wouldn't doubt it. He only had two.
Yeah. Uh, it was horrible. It was
Yeah,
absolutely horrible.
the pressure probably got to him. I think he's really
Maybe, but it's not like he
scared, but
hasn't been
it's
a.
definitely the
He
pressure.
hasn't been. He's been a champion. I don't understand. That was for that year, not this year.
Well, this is different because they're
Like they got Wemby. That's what I say. The only thing he can be
it's
is like the pressure and the fear of Wemby got to him.
yeah,
Uh, a
it's all
lot
too
of good
much.
things I'm gonna say about this entire series is Julius Champagny was just amazing shooting this series. Sixers really lost the guy there. Jared McCain was very solid for a guy who needed to take shots. As a young guy, I'm pissed that Daryl Morey gave OKC him, but whatever. People are gonna look back at this and say this is Chet's worst playoffs probably ever, or at least series ever. He's gonna have as the numbers of the board guy said he's gonna have a long summer to just think about the last 7 games of basketball he's played. Um, I think I talked about Dylan Harper already. One of the greatest, stepped up as a rookie for the Spurs, to help them get over this point. Very good player. Luke Cornett, of course, we talked about, and Wemby, the Western Conference Finals MVP, Wemby. When he was on the floor, the Spurs outscored OKC by 62 when he was on the floor. Absolutely mind blowing difference. Uh, mad respect
The
to him.
parody era is still here.
Exactly, and I believed in it
Still
too.
here.
I called it, and obviously maybe it was an obvious call, but it wasn't really obvious. He won a game 7, but I said,
Yeah, I don't know if it was obvious.
yeah, and
Pretty close.
but I said in one of the other videos, or maybe not in the video, but I think I said in the video that this is the parody era, and I don't think OKC is the one to do it, and they're not. We're guaranteed a new champion
They
this
were
year.
close. They just had to go up against Wemby.
Unfortunate, and of course they were
Because
banged up.
you think the Spurs can do it? You think
I,
they can end
I
the parody era?
at this rate,
Exactly
I
that.
think
You
so.
know,
But
maybe
it's
yes.
yeah, it's hard. But thing is, like OKC was banged up, so I understand them thinking like, hey, we could have had it. We were like one J Dub away. We were one Alex Mitchell away from making it. But
Why did you
that's
say Alex?
oh AJ Mitchell. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying Alex. Um, that's weird. I didn't catch myself. I know I said that earlier too. But and honestly, they're not completely wrong. With how Chet played, you might as well have Chet be injured. But they need his defense, but honestly, you need the offense. Like, yeah, this was one of the greatest series I've ever watched, and that a lot of people probably have seen, either ever or in a long
Yeah.
time. Um, and now we go on to the finals. I really enjoyed Wemby after the game when he was very emotional. It's really good to see play a player who really cares about winning and about um his team. He said it was a whole team effort. He said he loves all the guys. He really
I
cared
love this
about
team.
this. I do too.
This
Um
team is so fire.
and he wasn't afraid to show his emotions. One of the toughest lines I've ever heard was when Wemby was asked about crying, he said, "I will not bear the burden of hiding my emotions," and that is such a tough line. Like, and yeah, he cried. He was happy. You see, you obviously didn't see it, but after the like as soon as the game was done, he was shouting, he was freaking out, he was hugging everybody, he was happy that he made it. And he was
Yeah,
crying. He said, "This is a
yeah,
childish dream to go to the finals, to have a chance to win the Larry O'Brien," and that's what you want to see. People care about
yeah,
something, right? No matter what, whether they've done it before or not, people care about something. And that's it's just so great to see. I'm so happy for Wemby and the Spurs. I'm obviously we
yeah.
still they're
But
still
hey,
4 wins away. Job's not done,
yeah,
obviously.
job's not finished.
Um,
Job is not finished. We're getting the
yeah,
1999 rematch.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and I'm just so happy for them. Whoever wins is gonna be ecstatic, and it's gonna be legendary either way. Whether it's Wemby and them being one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team overall to ever win it. I think they might be second youngest to a team in the '70s, but the youngest team of the modern era to ever win it.
Are they
If they
really
do
younger
win
than
it,
OKC last year?
yep, yep. OKC was the
Okay.
second youngest, and if the Spurs win, they will be the youngest in the modern era, of course. And then the New York Knicks, if they win it, then they will be ending a 50-year drought of not winning a chip, because they already ended the finals drought of 25 years. Which,
Hmm.
hey, we'll see what happens. I think Spurs got it. I said Spurs in six is my guess. Um, but yeah, uh, an amazing series from Wemby. Amazing series from OKC and the Spurs. Excited to see what happens in the finals. Um, really, really good game from both of them.
Yeah. All right. Are we gonna move on to the
Yeah, we will move on into the tanking rules. That's I'm sure you guys all seen. So see you guys over there. And on to the new NBA tanking rules. Or not tanking rules, but new draft rules that will be implemented next season already. Um, So, as you guys know, it is a 3-2-1 lottery where the bottom three teams only have two lottery balls. Balls. I don't know why I said that weird. Uh, and everyone else from let me go check what it looks
wait, is it
exactly.
one?
Uh, everyone else from 4 to 10 have three lottery balls,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then 11 to 14 have two lottery balls, and 15 and 16 have one lottery ball, which is the 7-8 playing loser. Um,
Hmm.
excuse me, and that is going to be the odds. So if you want the exact numbers, if you have two balls, it's 5.4%. If you have three balls, it's 8.1%, and if you have one ball, it's 2.7%. Easy math: 2.7 times 2, 2.7 times 3, 2.7 times 1. For people out there who can't do math. Uh, and the rules are that they added uh, were also that the NBA, if they catch you tanking or tanking enough, they can change where you are in the uh, lottery or the draft lottery. So I'm guessing, assuming if you get caught tanking, you're probably going to 16. And I will say the problem I feel with that is if you catch more than one team tanking, how do you decide where they go? Because are they 16, 15 based on like how severe it was, or are they just not having a first round pick? Are they just taken away? Because if they have done that before, way back then, but I don't know. From what I heard from the numbers on the board guys, also I watched like every podcast today to try to catch up on some of these things. Um, the numbers on the board guys said, I think in the interview, the article that was written on this, the NBA doesn't know yet for a lot of these stipulations, which is kind of worrying. Um, and I will say that is a very scary thing. To implement rules that you don't know about the technicalities of yet, obviously they have an entire summer, but it is still scary what they would do. Um, I don't think Okay, I think I'll take my take first because Aiden knows it already. Is I think these rules are relatively good. And I know a lot of you will disagree with me because I've
Mhm.
seen the social media and everything. This is its own hot take, you know. Um, this keeps the integrity of the game there. You have a lot less teams losing on purpose or trying to lose in the later half of the season because that's when tanking is always done. Tanking is never in the beginning of the season. Of course, we know that. Um, unless you have an injury, but even then, still. And I do understand that it makes it harder for small market teams to be good or teams who are bad naturally to really be good. But this would push them to try to be better in my eyes for future generations. And they still have a chance to get the top pick anyway. So it's not like they don't, you know. Um, but what really scares me that I don't know why they did it like this, right? Unless maybe it's because if you're 16, you can get the number one pick still, which I feel like is kind of scary. For some of these is if you are the worst team in the league, uh, you can win, as Kenny said, 0 games, 0-82, and you can end up with the 16th pick. Which
Mhm.
I don't know if that should be possible. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be honest. I like the rules, but not
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
This is not what I thought they would do with those, you know. And I guess it has to do with the probabilities, and that makes some sense, but I don't know if that's great. That's something you would definitely I disagree with for sure. Um, but I definitely
Yeah.
like
See?
that it incentivizes people to try and win. Um, and I hear a lot of complaining
What if you
from
just suck?
that is true, and that's just unfortunate. You know, you either gotta develop better, trade better, something. Regardless. I
And
know
what
it's
if
not that
and what
easy,
if a,
but
what if a team is just really good, like the Charlottes, and they just pull a Mavericks, Dallas Mavericks, they just get the number one, even
hey,
they have the lowest
maybe.
odds.
Also, the rules
As
are
for
you can't
that's what
pick
I
number
don't like.
one in consecutive years, and you can't pick top five in 3 consecutive years. Obviously, stopping stuff like what the Spurs have done. And a lot of people are mad, like, well, now the Spurs did it. Why are you not letting anybody else do it? It's you can't have
That's so stupid.
you can't have both sides of the coin because they used to complain about KD moved over and now they have a super team and then they added a separate apron a couple years later, but it was like, oh, it doesn't even matter, KD's off the team anyway, so it doesn't make a difference, it was too late. And now they're saying this is too early on the top three consecutive or top five consecutive picks in 3 years. It's you guys are gonna complain anyway, right? They're gonna complain whether it's early or late, right? And maybe they could have waited a year, but it wouldn't have changed too much, um, with the picking in my eyes, right? It's either it's done now or it's done later. You guys complain, oh, it's done too late, or you can complain it's done too early. You can't please them, so you just screw them. There's the rules. That's I don't like when people complain about that. I have seen complaints about that. Um, what can you do? Uh, a lot of the time I see people complaining that their team now has less odds to be good or to get a top draft pick, which I understand. But for for media who actually watches the games, including us, and as fans who go to the games, not us yet, but fans of like lower end teams, I know you guys aren't really most of the people who are saying a lot of these things aren't actually watching these games. I guarantee you, Sacramento fans, 40% of them, maybe even more than that, did not watch any game from February, March, and maybe even April. Is that right? Yeah. Because it just didn't matter to them. You were tanking. And you should never have a fan base who just doesn't watch games because you just know they're going to lose. Or you just know they're not even going to try to win, right? It's not like, oh, they're versing OKC and then, okay, you probably think you're going to lose. Then they pull an upset or something, But that's not the case. You just know they're going to lose. I would bet like $1 million OKC versus Sacramento this year that they won every time they played, you know? Especially the second half of the season. I probably should have bet on that because that's a guaranteed win. Uh, besides the point, I know a lot of y'all aren't actually watching these games, and of course, it sucks for small market teams, to some degree, and actual bad teams. But one, you dig yourself in the hole of being an actual bad team, like the Sacramento Kings, who have just built horribly. They thought it could work with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan again after they got off the Bulls. Obviously, that was not going to work. And they traded away a lot of these good picks and a lot of these good players. It's their own fault. Obviously, some of these other bad teams isn't always their own fault. And obviously, there is always going to be a bad bottom three team who are just bad, naturally bad. But this just stops teams from trying to lose. It increases winning, increases the amount of games you want to watch. And now it's instead of, oh, these two teams both have to try to lose this game, it'll be both these teams need to win this game to not be in the bottom three. And it'll be way more exciting to watch than seeing both teams put in a bunch of two-way guys and a bunch of their backups to play most of the game. And now I'm going to let Aiden go and explain and rant his side of how he feels about this. Because I already know somewhat of what Aiden feels. Because we talked about this off camera. Or not, it's not even camera, off recording. Um, so go ahead, Aiden. I want to hear your whole side, and then we can debate more about it. Also, the second
Well,
round shit that fucking makes. I'm not saying I don't think it makes any sense. They're like reversing the order of the second round. I don't know why you're touching the second round at all. Nobody really
what?
cared about that,
What the
but it's
heck?
it's it's like reversed. I don't know. I have in my notes here.
Reversed.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know, but yeah. Also,
Uh,
they said they don't know if
okay.
what they're gonna. Sorry, this is another rule.
It's
They said you
okay.
can't pick in two consecutive years. Number one, and
Uh-huh.
I think they were asked what they're gonna do if that does happen, and they said they don't know, which is very scary. Like I said, when you don't know what to do,
Okay. That.
yeah,
Yeah,
when
that's.
you're implementing these rules, people
Uh,
assumed you would
hmm.
just, if I'm not mistaken, you would just drop it down, but they said they probably weren't doing that. And you don't know if they're gonna do a full reroll of every pick, which would
Well, you
be
can't
probably
drop it.
horrible.
Well,
I don't
you
know
can
how
drop
you
it
would
down
work
to
it.
6, right?
I have
That's.
no idea. It was like, do you drop it down, everyone goes up, or do you drop it down lower and everyone goes up? I don't know. This is where
Oh yeah,
it's
maybe
like
you just reroll.
they need to. You
Okay.
can't. They need to, I mean, you could reroll, but how you gonna reroll number one? I guess like it's weird. And they didn't know what to do, so that's what I'm gonna leave you with, and you can go into your
Okay.
debate or side.
Well, we've already talked about this, and it's just.
Feel free to repeat it because the people haven't heard it yet. So
Yeah, I know. It's just that it's this is just inherently goes against, you know, bad in small market teams. You've already said that. And it's just because the because tanking is, as much as we all hate it, as much as it sucks, it's still somewhat just fair because it's something that everyone can do. The odds, they're all just random. It's something that I guess it's something that it's just everyone can do. But what sucks is that you can control it and manipulate that. That's what sucks about it. Because if you aren't bad and you're trying to tank, then that's, obviously that's, you know, the bad parts of the odds that we have right now. Oh, and it's just doing this is just hard for. It's just really hard for uh everyone else because it's just you increase the odds of everyone else getting the same exact odds and getting number one. So it's a bigger pool of all these people, but then it's also if you're really bad, you just really suck, you just can't get the number one, and it's just not it's just not fair. And I mean it can be, but at the base of it all, it's just inherently not as fair as tanking. If we just look at it, and we just look at the base of it all, it's just tanking is fair because everyone can do it. This isn't fair because it's just you know it could be it'd be bad for smaller market teams because smaller market teams rely on drafting. Other than like bigger market teams like LA, Miami, where they can just sign a guy or some shit like that. Like it's just inherently bad. Small market teams. Uh, I mean, look, we've been over this before, and we'll talk about it right here. It's how you say this will push, maybe a front office to go harder on, I don't know, the GM. Maybe they fire a GM or that they make better. They want to make better and stronger moves or some shit like that, and it'll make them think more critically. But I don't think they'll do that. I think this. I don't think it's gonna make. I don't think it's gonna make a team or organization. I don't know if it's gonna really help them push to be a better team if they really truly do suck. It could happen. Very well could. So what do I know? What do we know at all
Yeah, our
so
takes
far?
could be completely incorrect in the next year or two. So we'll
Yeah, like
see. But yeah, keep going.
like no, I mean that's basically it. I mean, I I get it. I don't hate it like I know some people do.
A lot of people hate it
But
so badly. But yeah.
I know. I just don't like because I don't know. I just like rooting for smaller guys, and this just makes it harder
Yeah,
for
like the
smaller market
underdogs.
teams.
Yeah.
And
Um
so that's my only gripe with it. Obviously, um, I do like the fact that it does incentivize winning, but it's just how it's being done is kind of
iffy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I get it. I understand. I like some of it. And I like
Yeah.
the new commissioner rule where he can you know just take or alter your fucking odds or whatever if you get caught doing some
Yeah, they're like, hey,
stupid tanking shit.
don't think you should be doing this? Boom, banned. You don't get a
Yeah.
pick. Which I
Like
hope they
yeah,
do.
that I think yeah, honestly, yeah. I I was saying that they should just push that more. Like how you were saying, it's just too early and whatnot. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But maybe they could have just waited a year and or two. We'll go with just the commissioner thing, and it's just kind of just push on the fines and the and then just uh like punish the people trying to tank purposefully, and it's just like because like you know should really do it right now. I don't know because the thing is that obviously all the trades, all these picks or whatever, they've already happened. So I think people just want to see, you know, how or just if we wait a little longer, these these trades that have happened, a team isn't as punished as of like right now if it happens because they'll be able to recover if their trade if the trades that they've made in the past they it sucks now going into this new rule. Maybe if they
Because it
wait a
kind
few
of fucks them
years,
over or screws them over. Sorry,
yeah,
excuse my language. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe in a few years, it'll fizzle out or it'll dilute all that stuff. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to see it happen like pretty quickly. So I don't mind it being next year because it's just kind of just like why wait? But also I get it that wanting to wait,
Yeah.
but
I would
I don't know.
say to that end part of the trade things, and it's, I guess it would make it maybe a little easier if there was like a year gap so I can somewhat understand. But whether it was done now or 5 years, you're gonna have teams who already made trades with those picks, and then you're just end up waiting longer and longer and longer, and this tanking thing is still gonna be a problem regardless. And I
Yeah,
do see a lot of people complaining, well, this doesn't fix tanking. You're not gonna fix tanking. Like, people don't understand. You're not gonna fix tanking. If there's a will, there's a way. If there's a chance you can manipulate your odds to get the number one pick, people are gonna do it. Front offices are smart enough to know, and these analytics people are gonna be smart enough to know how to work around these things. So you're not gonna fix it, no matter what you do. There is no way to fix tanking,
it's
regardless.
just about tanking less
Yes, it's about
because it's
minimizing it. Yeah,
it's it's all just about we want to see more wins in the regular season than you know than this season because
yeah,
there's so
yeah.
many teams that just lost this season.
Is that not
And
even
so,
not even just more wins? We just want to see
well,
real
yeah,
basketball. I
yeah,
don't want to see you
yeah.
taking out all your starters in the
If we see
fourth
more
quarter.
wins or more of that,
Yeah,
more people will watch.
yeah,
That's all they want,
yeah,
because this is just bad. This is just, take is just bad from a business
yeah.
standpoint.
It's
It's
super
just,
bad, and people don't
yeah,
understand it either. Like, I'm gonna put this in perspective because I don't even think the numbers of board guys address this. And I've heard anybody address this either. Uh, the NBA and every owner of a small market team that is tanking loses money from people not watching the games or going to the games. One,
yeah.
they're already losing money from the WNBA, which also all got pay increases, right? I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything about that. Great for them, but they're losing a lot more money from that. And this hurts the NBA a lot, right? And especially all the media people also lose somewhat, probably some more money overall if the NBA is not doing well. We don't, all the reporters and media stuff really don't have anything to report on or say anything during those 2-3 months. And I guess like the normal, a lot of fans don't really care about that aspect of it, but it matters a lot, you know. I was talking with Aiden the other day, like, we had nothing to really report for real on in those 2 months. We didn't watch a single basketball game because it was just teams losing. Either our team was not gonna really be doing anything besides losing, like Aiden's Grizzlies and Bulls, or your team is banged up and injured, like my Warriors, which even then it was kind of like, well, they're probably not gonna win, and I still watch them myself, but I know a lot of fans were not watching, and I lose a lot of money, you know, because the NBA, the owner is all of this, and that's a big part of the thing. The whole point of this thing is to make money. It is for money. It is a business at the end of the day, and that's what a lot of people do not understand at all, right? And you guys can all complain, but 29 of the 30 teams agreed on this. By the way, with the only being the Grizzlies did not agree with this, only because there's a source from Shams. They didn't like the rule of not allowing a team to pick top five in 3 consecutive years. And that is also made because the Grizzlies have a favorable pick, first rounder from Cleveland and Minnesota and Utah in 2027.
Hmm.
And because the well, I can't speak. The Jazz also have a top five pick in this year, and they
Yeah.
can't have it under the new rules in 2027. So that's the only reason. It's not even about the odds. That's the only gripe they supposedly had. If
Hmm.
29 of the teams and owners agreed to this, obviously they're gonna make more money because people are gonna actually want to watch these games. They have to do it. But this is where it's a business as well, and it's just for the integrity of the sport. We want to see winning. We want to see not even just winning, guys trying. We don't want to see guys half-assing it. Teams trying to loop around, and obviously there's always gonna be a loop around, but it'll be a lot less, and all you can do is to minimize it. You can never prevent it fully. You just try to slow down, slow the bleeding. And I see people have also been talking about how this has been a major overreaction to this incredible 2026 or is it 2026, 2027, whatever it is, lottery or draft class. You gotta shut it down early. Or if there's another super stack draft, you're gonna have the same year and the same thing, and nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Yeah, you might want to have your guy get a top pick, but just imagine another small market team who is still relatively good but not that good get the number one pick, who's like fourth worst team instead of the third. And they're like, "Oh my god, we got the number one pick." That's also exciting. It's exciting to see the parity era with new champs every time. New anybody can win the draft now. It's exciting
Mhm.
to me at least. Right? It's different. You do it. A lot of people already are complaining that OKC is it's boring. Oh they just win or it's just they're just good. And if it's boring because you see OKC win all the time, then why are you against something that would make it more variety? Yes, it does affect teams that are actually bad. But there's no if they're bad for that many years in a row, which I told Aiden already, then they deserve to be bad. They need to have some front office changes. And I know Aiden says he doesn't agree with me fully on that. But dude, I don't know if it's due to the new rules. But this season already has a lot of GM changes, coach changes, and president changes already that has happened. And it's kind of crazy. I didn't notice this last year, and I didn't follow it as closely, but I still followed it. There's a lot of changes that has happened, just this past year, and that actually just happened like really recently. So it's already kind of starting to take shape. So it doesn't really matter what side you're on. It's happening no matter what. The commissioner, whatever the commissioner says, goes. And unfortunately, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I think they said in like 4 to 5 years they might rescind these rules and see if this is really working or not. Maybe even shorter than 5 years, um, which in my eyes is kind of scary because then like I think Mike brought up on the Numbers on the Board podcast. He said, "Well, what if that means I don't really want to trade my 2031 pick because this rule might not even be here anymore, so it might be more valuable later on or something like that." And that kind of makes sense, which is why I'm worried if they don't know what to do in these technicalities, or if they even say they might rescind these rules. I think they just have to stand on it because then it makes it easier for everyone to trade, right? These are the rules hands down, right? We don't want you to be iffy on these rules. We want you to know your stance, and then whatever we can complain about it, but it's the rules. Then we have to just go and live with it rather than these rules might be taken away, or we don't know how you're going to handle this technicality. We could get screwed over from that. I don't like when that's one part I don't like, and I know a lot of people don't.
My question is, so the top five pick thing, not being able to pick top five, consecutively,
Yeah,
um, is so how are they gonna do that? Are they just gonna re-roll that then?
I have no idea.
Or
Like I said, they said, well, according to Kenny on the Muslim podcast, I think they're referring to an interview or a article that they talked about it. They
Mhm.
don't know. They just don't know yet.
that's I don't like that. But also what I don't like is um, it's just if if we do this, teams will really try to be pushed really good, right?
Yeah.
But then those five teams that are complete, let's say there's five teams that are just complete garbage or whatever. Or no, wait. Actually, never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
Gotcha.
Okay, you know what? Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't like that they don't know.
Yeah. Me
That's
neither.
just that's really concerning.
Yeah. I
That
was
is
all
super
for
concerning.
these before, and I listened to the podcast, and I was like, "Whoa, what do you say? Like, what are they talking about?" Kenny said they don't know what they're talking about, and it's not like Kenny is some random dude, like us. He's a reputable source, one of the most well known names in all of NBA media. He says they don't know. Obviously, he got the source from like an article, but that is terrifying.
I mean, I guess they got over a year to think about it.
Not
They got
even.
like
It's or
two
I guess they
years.
do because the draft
Yeah,
is a whole year from now. But still, it is scary.
they got 2 years.
But to be fair, they only have like this summer to think about it because teams have to make trades. Team has to make adjustments to their rosters and everything to prepare for all of this. And these things, if they're not sorted, are big factors. I feel that could affect a team's choices, and that's not ever good to have.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's very very terrifying. But like I said, I like it. It does hurt small market teams, but to be fair, it only hurts three small market teams, and maybe not even small market teams because maybe a really good team is just really bad that year. Um, so it doesn't affect that many small market teams. It affects the really bad ones, granted. Uh, but I think overall it'll be
Yeah,
better
but
for
what
the
about
sport.
Milwaukee, man? What are
Milwaukee
we
would
gonna do?
have a good chance to get no one
What
this
are we
year
gonna
if
do?
this is the rules. Um,
What if we just start sucking? We start sucking, and
then
we trade away Giannis,
we
and we
just hope
just
we
suck
ain't
ass.
bottom three. That's it. Because we do have a lot of talent, but we just hope we ain't bottom three. And the thing is, I'd rather watch us try not to suck for the last few months than us purposely lose for the last few months. Because I'm not watching that. You're not watching that. Nobody's watching that for real, for real. And that's what excites me because I can actually root for a bad team because they're gonna be trying to win. They're gonna try to win all these games to not go under. Like if my team, the Bucks, or our team, technically we're from Wisconsin, they lose Giannis this year, which is I think probably guaranteed. I could be wrong, but it's probably guaranteed from I'm looking at
Where
the
do you think he's
numbers
going?
and the Heat. That's where I think it's going. But
Yeah.
if we lose Giannis and we end up being bad, I'm gonna be watching and hoping and praying that we aren't bottom three, and it's gonna be so much more entertaining to see Derry Bird, KPJ, Ryan Rollins. I don't think we have KPJ anymore, but maybe, and try to fight for their lives to not be bottom three, and that's gonna be so entertaining. And imagine how tough the game is gonna be when it's two teams that need to win, and let's say they're in like the 3-4 spot and they need to win to not fall down, how entertaining that is going to be to anybody. Like, cause they're both gonna be fighting. Rather than the Grizzlies and the Jazz need to lose this game, they're both trying to throw, and to see who can throw harder. That's stupid. That should never be a thing. And even any of you guys can agree with me on this. That should never be a thing. Um, I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's nice, and I think if your team does not fall within the bottom three, you would be really happy because then your team has a really good chance to get number one, and you guys would be super excited, and you guys would love the rules. I'll see if it helps you guys. You guys are gonna love the rules. I'm trying to be a bystander because all my teams currently are not bottom three and aren't really 4 to 10, so I don't really have anything to say about that. And I'm kind of like a neutral standpoint. I'm just happy to see if someone else gets the number one pick and not just teams who are purposely throwing for 5 plus 6 years, Um, and of course, people are going to obviously manipulate it, but hey, it's even odds. They're not even guaranteed it anymore. So it could not be worth risking your season just for this because you still might get the 16th pick for you purposely adjusting your play style, and you might get caught with the new commissioner rule, or you just might get unlucky. So it makes it so like, hey, maybe we don't really throw too hard, or we don't not develop our young player, you know. And yeah, we'll see how this pans out. We could be completely wrong, but hopefully
Yeah,
we're not.
we could be entirely wrong.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not. At least I just hope it's really good for the
I mean,
two,
I could
but
be
we'll see.
completely wrong. Maybe it's really good,
Yeah,
or you could just be
yeah,
wrong
I
and
could
it's
be, and
just
it's horrible.
really bad.
Yeah. We will see. I'll see this is our stand, and we hope you guys understand it. I just kind of want to open you guys up, your guys' eyes up to the potential good side. Let us know down below what you guys think. And I think that's gonna be it for today's podcast. Aiden has anything else to say?
Nope. Nothing else.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. This one's a little, well, not short, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And we'll see you guys next week or in a future video. See ya.
Bye bye.